What if I told you that you are already enough? Not when you achieve that promotion, not when you lose the extra weight, not when someone finally says, "I love you," but right now. Just as you are. You were born worthy of this life. And the truth is, you don't need to become someone else to deserve peace, love, and happiness. You simply need to remember who you are. Every single thought we allow into our mind shapes the way we experience life. You are not your circumstances. You are not your past. You are the one in charge, the one steering the wheel. And the moment you start choosing your thoughts with care, your reality begins to shift. I want you to try something with me. Look in the mirror, not just at your face, your body, or the lines of age or fatigue a bit deeper. Look at the reflection of someone who's been through storms and still rises. Someone who may have believed they were not enough but now chooses a different story. Your body is not your enemy. It holds wisdom. It speaks to you through your energy, your emotions, even your stillness. When you start treating it with love, instead of criticism, it begins to respond with radiance. That's not just wishful thinking. That's alignment. Your outer beauty is a reflection of your inner story. And that story, it's yours to rewrite. You shine more brightly each day you choose to honor yourself. Each time you slow down, breathe, and choose peace over pressure, simplicity over stress, self-compassion over shame. What would happen if you started seeing the divine perfection in every part of you? The world teaches us to hustle, compare, chase approval. But the moment you begin loving yourself deeply, profoundly, unlock a different frequency. You begin to attract love instead of begging for it. Because others mirror what you believe about yourself. If you see lack, you'll find more lack. But if you see love, the world opens its arms and echoes it right back. You are love. You are compassion. Not because you strive to bub you, because at your core, you already are. Even your flaws, your wounds, your shadows are just parts of you waiting to be held, understood, and loved into light. Real healing starts when you stop trying to fix yourself and begin embracing who you are. Today, can you choose to believe, I am enough, I am whole, I am worthy right here, right now. You don't need to control everything. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to chase anyone's approval. You are allowed to simply be. So take a deep breath, feel your presence, and say it with me out loud or in your heart. I am enough. I am worthy of love. I am at peace with myself. This is how you begin the journey, not by doing more, but by remembering. You already have everything you need within you. Have you ever paused and asked yourself, what am I really here for? Not just the job, not just the routine, but the deeper calling, that quiet pull inside your chest when the world goes silent. So many of us go through life checking boxes: career, relationships, molesting, yet still feel an emptiness we can't explain. That's because purpose isn't something we find outside. It begins from within. And here's the truth most people don't say out loud. Your purpose isn't a job title. It's not your bank account. It's the expression of who you really are when you trust yourself enough to let your soul lead. You see, inside every one of us is a voice. Soft, steady, always present. It's your inner guide, your intuition, your truest self. But we've learned to silence it, drowned out by noise, opinions, fears, and expectations. We forget that we were born with wisdom. We forget that we already know what we're meant to do if we only listen. So today, I invite you to slow down, to breathe, to ask yourself honestly, what lights me up? What makes me lose track of time? When do I feel most alive? Because purpose isn't some grand, distant achievement. It's in the little moments where your heart feels aligned with your actions. For me, I didn't discover my purpose in a rush of lightning or a big aha moment. It came in silence. In still mornings with my journal, in those quiet inner nudges that said, this is right for you. Keep going. When you begin to know yourself, to play, to understand your values, your passions, your gifts, that's when the fog starts to lift. That's when life becomes less about proving your worth and more about living it. You are not here by accident. You have a place in this world that no one else can fill. There is something you can offer, whether it's kindness, creativity, wisdom, humor, presents that makes a real difference. And when you live from that place, you don't need to chase meaning. You become the meaning. You become someone who gives love, not because you have to, because you are love. You share your joy and talent, not for applause, but because it's your gift to the world. You realize, I get to decide what my life stands for. That's freedom. And you don't need chaos to feel alive. You don't need complexity to be fulfilled. Sometimes, the deepest purpose is found in simplicity, in the quiet moments where you're fully present, fully grateful, and fully you. Let this be your reminder. You are allowed to trust yourself. You are safe to follow your inner compass. You don't need permission to be who you really are. Your journey is yours alone. No one else can walk it for you. But the more you choose truth over fear, clarity over confusion, and love over doubt, the more life will rise up to meet you. So today, start there. Not with a 5-year plan, but with one honest step. Not with pressure to figure it all out, but with the courage to go inward and ask, what matters most to me? The answers won't always be loud, but they will be true. And when you listen to that voice, a real voice, you'll find that your life has been guiding you toward your purpose all along. Love is not something you chase. It's not something you earn. It's something you open up to. But for so many of us, love feels distant, like a beautiful dream that never quite arrives. And maybe that's because we've been taught to search for love outside of ourselves, before ever learning how to receive it within. Let me ask you this. Are you truly open to love? Not just to the idea of it, but to the real thing? To love that sees you fully, or light and your shadows. To love that doesn't need to be perfect to be real. Real love isn't just butterflies and magic moments. It's presence. It's mutual respect. It's the ability to say, I see you. I accept you. I choose you. Again and again, even when life isn't easy. And that kind of love begins with you. The truth is, you are already worthy of love. Not someday. Not after you heal. Not when you lose the weight or land the dream job. You are worthy of love right now. And you are also capable of being the perfect partner for your perfect partner. Not because you have everything figured out, but because you are willing to grow, to listen, to share from your heart. Every relationship you've ever had, romantic, platonic, or even difficult, has taught you something. Each one was a mirror, a teacher, a piece of the puzzle. And when we look at them with compassion instead of blame, we begin to see the gift in each connection. You've learned. You've grown. You've been broken open and put yourself back together. Now, you are not who you were before. Now, you are ready for love that nurtures rather than drains. Love that expands you, not confines you. So today, can you say it out loud or whisper it softly in your heart? I am ready for a real, loving relationship. Because the moment you say yes to love, a genuine, grounded, soul-deep love, begin creating space for it to show up. Let go of the belief that love has to hurt. Let go of the fear that you'll never find your person. You are not too much. You are not too late. Love doesn't come when you're perfect. It comes when you're open. And sometimes, opening your heart requires courage. It means thanking the people who are already in your life, those who show up, even in small ways. It means choosing to see the goodness in others, even when they're flawed. And it means truly trusting that the universe is always working on your behalf. The person meant for you isn't someone you need to chase. They will recognize you by your energy, your authenticity, your capacity to love freely. You're not meant to settle. You're meant to connect. Deeply, honestly, soulfully. So breathe. Let go of the timeline. Let go of the old story that says love is hard, or rare, or only for other people. Love is already surrounding you in friends, in family, in nature, in your own heartbeat. And romantic love, it's on its way. Or maybe it's already here, waiting for you to truly see it. You deserve a love that feels like coming home. A love where you can be soft, be strong, be real. So today, set the intention. I welcome love into my life. I trust the timing. I trust the process. I trust myself. And watch how the universe responds. Because when your heart is open and your spirit is aligned, love doesn't just knock. It walks in boldly, beautifully, and right on time. What if I told you that radiant health, vibrant energy, and a deep sense of physical well-being are not something you have to chase? There's something you already deserve simply because you're alive. Health is your birthright, not a luxury, not a reward, but something deeply natural to who you are. We live in a world that often tells us otherwise. We're taught to wait until something goes wrong before we start paying attention. We're told to push through the fatigue, ignore the signals, silence the symptoms just to keep up. But what if we stopped? What if, instead, we chose to listen? Right now, at this very moment, your body is doing something extraordinary. It's breathing for you. It's healing you. It's regenerating millions of cells quietly, without needing permission. Every heartbeat, every breath, every signal of pain or calm is your body speaking. And the more you learn to listen, the more you'll realize your body has wisdom. And when you honor it, it thrives. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly thanked your body? Not judged it, not pushed it, but thanked it for carrying you through every season, every challenge, every change. The truth is, real health begins with love. Not shame, not pressure, but love, deep, nourishing, compassionate self-love. That means making time for rest, choosing foods that fuel you, moving your body not out of guilt, but out of gratitude. It means checking in, asking, what does my body need today? And actually listening. Every choice you make is a message to your body. You're either saying, you matter, or you're not a priority. And here's the beautiful part. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to follow a rigid plan or look like anyone else. You just need to begin with small, loving actions that say, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm choosing me. Because your cells are listening. Every act of nourishment, every moment of rest, every glass of water. These things matter. They signal to your body, you are safe. You are supported. You are healing. And healing is always possible. You see, your body is not against you. It wants to heal. It's designed to heal. It simply needs your partnership. When you stop seeing your body as a problem and start seeing it as an ally, that's when true transformation begins. I've learned that when I slow down, tune in, and care for myself deeply, my energy rises. My clarity sharpens. My joy multiplies. That's not a coincidence. That's alignment. You are more powerful than you think. Your thoughts, your choices, your attention. All of it plays a role in your well-being. So today, I invite you to affirm this. I am healthy. I am energized. I am healing. I trust my body's intelligence. Because it's true. You are meant to feel good. You are meant to feel strong. You are meant to live in a body that feels like home, not a battlefield. So take care of yourself, not as a task, but as a sacred responsibility. Eat well. Move your body. Rest when needed. Hydrate. Breathe. Smile. Do it not to fix yourself, but to honor yourself. You are a living, breathing miracle. And the moment you start acting like it, the moment you start treating yourself with the love and care you truly deserve, that's when healing accelerates. Because healing isn't a destination. It's a relationship between your mind, your body, and your soul. And it begins with a choice. So, what are you choosing today? There comes a moment in life when you realize carrying the pain no longer serves you. Not because what happened was okay. Not because you're weak. But because you're ready to be free. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's not about pretending you were never hurt. Forgiveness is about reclaiming your power. It's choosing to no longer let the pain of the past control the peace of your present. So many of us walk around holding on to silent wounds, betrayals, disappointments, words that cut deep, mistakes we've made, regrets we've buried. And over time, those emotions turn heavy. They live in our bodies, they cloud our minds, they harden our hearts. But healing begins the moment we say, I choose to forgive, not for them, for me. Let me ask you this. Is there something you're still holding on to? A memory, a name, a version of yourself you can't quite forgive. You see, forgiveness isn't just something you do once and move on. It's a daily practice, a quiet decision to meet your pain with compassion instead of judgment. And it starts with you. You can't truly forgive others if you haven't learned to forgive yourself. You are not your past mistakes. You are not the pain you caused when you didn't know better. You are not the echoes of your parents' limitations or your childhood fears. You are love. You are growth. You are becoming every single day. So today, take a breath and give yourself grace. Say it gently, with honesty. I forgive myself. I am still learning. I am still healing. And that is okay. Because real peace doesn't come from having a perfect past. It comes from making peace with the imperfect journey. When you release blame of yourself or others, you create space. Space for clarity. Space for stillness. Space for joy. When we hold on to anger, it weighs us down. When we replay the hurt, it rewounds us. But when we choose love again and again, we begin to rise. You are not here to carry every burden. You are not here to fix every wrong. You are here to live with an open heart, even if it's been broken before. That takes strength. That takes courage. And that is the power of forgiveness. I've learned that choosing love over fear isn't always easy, but it's always worth it. Every time I choose compassion over resentment, I feel lighter. Every time I look in the mirror and say, I let go, I create space for peace to enter. You don't have to wait for an apology. You don't need permission to release the pain. This is your healing, your journey, your moment. So today, ask yourself, who am I ready to forgive? What story am I ready to release? What weight am I ready to set down? And as the answers come, remind yourself, I am not my past. I am not my pain. I am love. I am peace. I am free. You have the power to heal. You have the power to change the narrative. You have the power to respond not from fear, but from love. That's the strength that lives inside you. And today, it's time to let it shine. We all want to be happy. We read the books. We chase the milestones. We dream about the day when everything will finally fall into place. But what if happiness isn't something we wait for? What if it's something we choose right here, right now? You see, real happiness doesn't come from a promotion, a partner, or a perfect situation. It comes from one powerful truth. You are responsible for your own emotions. And at first, that might sound heavy, but it's actually the most liberating truth you'll ever hear. Because when you take full ownership of how you feel, how you react, how you respond, you take back your power. You're no longer a prisoner of your circumstances. You become the creator of your experience. Let me ask you something. Have you ever caught yourself blaming someone else for your bad day? I'm upset because of what they said. I'm stressed because of how things turned out. I'm exhausted because no one understands me. We've all been there. But the moment you stop blaming, the moment you stop complaining, that's when the healing begins. You are not here to carry the weight of the world. You are here to honor your boundaries, to protect your energy, and to lead your own emotional life. And that begins with asking, how do I want to feel today? Not what's going wrong, but what's going right. Not who disappointed me, but how can I show up with grace, even when others don't? Each day, you get to choose. You get to choose joy even if it's quiet and small. You get to choose gratitude even if the world feels chaotic. You get to choose hope even when the outcome is unclear. That doesn't mean pretending everything's perfect. It means deciding that your peace is more important than your triggers. I've learned that the most powerful people aren't the ones who control everything. They're the ones who stay grounded, centered, and clear even when things fall apart. And that clarity starts with responsibility. You are not a victim of your emotions. You are not stuck in your past. You are not obligated to say yes when your soul is screaming no. You have the right to set boundaries. You have the right to honor your energy. You have the right to say no without guilt. Let that sink in. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you honest. It makes you strong. It protects the parts of you that deserve to be protected. Because you can't give the world your best if you're constantly running on empty. So today, give yourself permission to take your power back. Say yes to what lights you up. Say no to what drains you. And say thank you for every little thing that reminds you how far you've come. Because here's what I know. You deserve a life that feels whole. You deserve to feel calm, clear, and connected. You deserve to wake up in the morning and want to live your life. But it all starts with you. Not with someone else showing up. Not with external validation. With the choice you make today to own your emotions, to release the blame, and to find your joy again. So take a breath. Let go of the noise. And remind yourself, my happiness is mine. I choose it. I create it. I live it. And the more you live from that truth, the more your world begins to shift. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Let me say something that you may need to hear today. It's okay if not everyone understands you. It doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It simply means you are walking your own unique path, and not everyone is meant to walk it with you. In a world that constantly pushes us to be seen, validated, or approved, it takes real strength to say, I am okay with who I am, even if no one claps for it. You see, Self-acceptance is not about becoming someone else's ideal. It's about coming home to yourself, flaws, quirks, awkward moments, and saying, you're still worthy of love. Because you are. Even when you're still healing. Even when you're not at your best. Even when you haven't done everything you promised you'd do. You are worthy. You are lovable. You are enough. Let me ask you, have you ever felt guilty for not being more present in someone's life? For not always calling back? For not always knowing the right thing to say? Here's the truth: you can still be a good friend, a good child, a good human even when you're not perfect. Love isn't about being flawless. Love is about being genuine. It's about showing up with intention, even if that looks different from what others expect. Maybe you don't say "I love you" every day. Maybe you express it through your actions, a quiet check-in, a thoughtful message, a small act of care. That counts. Sometimes the most meaningful love doesn't come from loud declarations. It comes from consistent energy, quiet presence, and simply being there when it matters most. And you know what else? You are not here just to survive. You are here to create meaningful experiences for yourself and for others. That might mean laughing over coffee with a friend. It might mean holding space for someone who's hurting. It might even mean allowing yourself a quiet moment alone to feel, to rest, to reconnect. Because when you honor your own worth, you naturally begin to create value for others. You don't need to prove anything to be valuable. You don't need to earn your place. Your existence, your story, your presence, that is already a gift. So if no one has told you lately, you are allowed to be loved even when you're still figuring things out. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to grow at your own pace and still be worthy of connection. Stop waiting for the world to reflect your worth before you believe it. Know it now. And from that place of self-acceptance, something magical happens. You begin to accept others to not for who you want them to be, but for who they truly are. You stop needing to fix, change, or compare. You allow space for differences. You lead with empathy instead of judgment. Because once you've made peace with yourself, you naturally extend that peace to everyone you meet. So today, I invite you to hold this truth. I am okay, even if I'm misunderstood. I am a good person, even if I express love quietly. I create value simply by being present and real. I accept myself. I accept others. This is the beginning of deeper connection, the kind that feels honest, nourishing, and lasting. Because at the end of the day, relationships aren't about perfection. They're about presence. And when you're truly present with yourself, you become a safe place for others too. So breathe. Let go of who you think you should be. And embrace who you already are. That's more than enough. There's a voice inside you. It's quiet, steady, deeply honest. It's not shouting for attention, but it knows the way. That voice, it's your heart. And the more you learn to trust it, the more alive your life becomes. We weren't born to just follow the rules, fit the mold, and hope everything turns out okay. We were born to explore, to create, to grow, to live with meaning, not just motion. You have a fire in you even if it's been buried under years of fear, routine, or self-doubt. And that fire is purpose. It's not about having all the answers. It's about having the courage to ask the questions. What am I here to experience? What makes me come alive? What if I actually listen to that voice inside? You don't have to wait for permission to live your truth. You don't need a perfect plan to take the first step. What you do need is the willingness to show up fully, courageously, and honestly. Because the most meaningful life isn't the one where everything goes perfectly. It's the one where you choose to participate, even when the outcome is uncertain. Let me tell you something important. You are not fragile. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are a warrior. You've faced storms that no one else saw. You've kept going when giving up would have been easier. You've grown through things that once tried to break you. And you're still here. That alone makes you unstoppable. But here's the thing. Living fully means more than just surviving. It means trying, risking, expressing. It means saying yes to life, even when it feels uncomfortable. When was the last time you did something just because it lit you up inside? Something that didn't make sense on paper, but felt right in your soul? That's where joy lives. That's where creativity is born. That's where you find yourself again. You have the ability to learn anything you choose, to teach from your heart, to share stories that connect, ideas that inspire, and wisdom that uplifts others simply by being you. But that begins with honesty. Honesty with yourself. Honesty with others. Honesty in your words, your work, your choices. What's the truth you've been afraid to say? What's the dream you pushed aside because now's not the right time? What's the version of you that's still waiting to be expressed? This is your reminder. You can live boldly. You can speak with clarity. You can act from your values even if your voice shakes. You were not created to blend in. You were created to be the fullest expression of your unique spirit. So go ahead and try. Fail. Learn. Begin again. Fall in love with the process of becoming. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start with what feels true. Because when you live from your heart, you don't just build a life, you build a legacy. So today, choose to listen. Choose to create. Choose to speak your truth. Take the leap and live your life not by default, but by design. Because your soul didn't come here to sit quietly. It came here to shine. Let's be honest, our thoughts shape everything. The way we see ourselves, the way we treat others, the way we experience this life. But here's something powerful to consider. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker, the observer, the one who gets to choose what stays and what goes. So what happens when you stop letting your mind run on autopilot and start directing it with intention? That's when transformation begins. You see, negative thoughts are like weeds in a garden. If left unchecked, they grow quietly, consistently, and often without us noticing. I'm not good enough. This will never work. Why even try? We don't choose these thoughts, but we do choose whether to believe them. And today, I want to remind you of something important. You have the power to free yourself from those thoughts. You don't need to live under the weight of old beliefs, outdated stories, or other people's voices. You can shift. You can reframe. You can rise. It starts with noticing the patterns. Are you always focusing on what's missing? Are you constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop? Or can you begin to focus on what's working? Gratitude is not about ignoring reality. It's about choosing to see it through a lens that empowers you instead of shrinking you. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can be thankful for today? Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's a lesson you've learned. Maybe it's the strength that got you through something you once thought you couldn't survive. Gratitude grounds us in the present. And the present is where power lives. You also get to choose what you feed your mind. Just like you wouldn't eat junk food all day and expect to feel energized. You can't consume constant negativity and expect to feel hopeful. So be mindful of what you watch, what you read, who you follow. Choose content that lifts you, words that guide you, stories that expand you. Your mind is sacred space. Treat it with the same care you'd give to your body, your home, your dreams. And as you do this work of noticing, shifting, releasing, something incredible starts to happen. You stop needing the world to validate your worth. You stop chasing things that don't align with your soul. You start stepping into the belief that you are enough, right now, just as you are. And that belief, that's where it all changes. Because when you believe you're worthy of good things, you begin to receive them. Not because the universe suddenly favors you, but because you finally stopped blocking the flow with doubt, fear, and self-sabotage. You start showing up differently. You walk with more peace, more confidence, more clarity. You make better choices. You speak more kindly to yourself. You stop apologizing for existing. You realize, I don't have to wait for life to get better. I can make it better by thinking better. So today, let go of the habit of complaining. Release the need to control everything. And instead, pour your attention into what you can control, your mindset. Every positive shift starts in the mind. So speak to yourself like someone you love. Choose words that affirm your power. And remind yourself daily, I release the negative thoughts that no longer serve me. I focus on what's good, even in the smallest moments. I feed my mind with truth, wisdom, and inspiration. I am grateful for how far I've come, and I welcome all that's ahead. I am whole. I am enough. I am ready for more. Your thoughts create your reality. So choose the ones that build you up, and start creating the life you were always meant to live.